Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my garden plot. It's the day after Thanksgiving and we just got done eating some breakfast, so I'm going to show you what we do with our food scraps in my garden. This is a dormant raised bed. We're not actually growing anything right now, and all I've done so far is I've covered our garden plot here with leaves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a hole approximately 10 inches or so down. Does not have to be exact. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking today's breakfast scraps and we're going to be burying them. I call this composting in place. So what we're going to do is, I've got 4 children. They don't always eat all their food that's presented to them. We're just going to go ahead and take, this is between 6 people's eggs that we're not eating. We're going to go ahead and throw those in there. Okay. We've got a cutie orange that's gone bad, some onion peels from today's breakfast, as well as some eggshells, and we're just going to direct those right into that hole. I'm going to go ahead and get those covered up. I'm going to go ahead and break those up a little bit with the shovel, mainly those eggshells. Smaller the pieces, the quicker they're going to incorporate themselves into the garden nutrient cycle. And then we're just going to cover that back up with that topsoil, just like so. And then we're going to cover this back up with the leaves, just like that. Now, being the day after Thanksgiving, we're probably 4 months away from trying to plant anything, and that'll be our potatoes. This particular garden area is where we plant our tomatoes and our peppers. So this will be dormant for another 6 months or so. This will allow me time to continue to compost in place all the way down this bed. You can see here where all these tomato cages are laid on their sides. I've already practiced composting in place under those areas, and that's kind of how I track. That has a lot of fish waste from crappie that I've caught and cleaned. Basically have buried crappie fillet or crappie carcasses all along that area. That'll provide a lot of good nutrients for my tomatoes, and I'll continue to compost in place with food scraps from the table along this entire way. Now, through the growing season, when we have plants growing here, I can't compost in place, and that's when we add all those food scraps to our actual compost pile. But during the dormant season, I find it very, very beneficial to the garden to just compost in place directly in the garden, and then I practice traditional compost pile practices during the growing season when we have plants actively growing. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you have dogs or cats, after you do something like this, you will want to cover it with some type of barrier, whether it be a tomato cage laid on its side, perhaps a sheet of plywood or a tarp even. But we don't have any animals, and we have a fenced in yard, so I don't have to worry about any critters or anything. I've never had anything try to get in my garden. I've been doing this method for the last 8 or 9 years. I've never had an issue with any pests digging our garden. The keys is to go deep, and as long as you go 10 to 12 inches deep, you're not gonna have any issues. So that's all I've got for you today. Have a great off season and enjoy this holidays. And before we know it, we'll have a green, luscious garden once again. Have a good one.